What's going on, everybody? Good morning. Happy 2024. Happy freaking New Year. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for starting out the new year strong. Shambot, Wayne, Jim, Laramie, good to see you. Ryan, Roger, Hoos, morning, man. Guys on the spot. Fraser, good morning. Hope 2024 is kicking off to be a good one for everybody. Still playing the same game or new games? We'll kick off the new year with asking what everybody's currently playing. What are you currently playing? What RPG are you playing? Or running, whatever. It's been a little while. Figured let's cut to the chase. What's up, Noobus? Good to see you. How many weeks until I can write the year correctly? That's Wayne. Well, do you write checks? That would be the thing, right? If you don't write checks, it's probably not a huge deal. Hey, Julie, good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. All right, got some things going. So for newcomers that may not know what this is all about, I'm Sean. I figured it's 2024. I should introduce the stream at the beginning of the year, and then, if anybody joins during the year, they can maybe reference them back to this one. Who knows? But I am Sean, and I play tabletop RPGs. All together. Hi, Sean. And I used to be part of a tabletop role-playing game called Gaming and BS with my co-host Brett for about 7 years, weekly up to about 6 and 400 episodes. And some of the folks that have joined me today, I've met through the show, either online or actually in person. And so we have a little community of Discord members. If you would like, the link is down below. You can join. It's a pretty, I would say, for a Discord server, it is pretty RPG diverse. Let me specify, RPG diverse. We could always use more diversity. But nonetheless, friendly, cordial discussion, some opinions, but, we don't want to come in and bash the snot out of certain games. And frankly, I think we have some of our biases, and I think as we know each other and the members, I wouldn't say we take each other too seriously. I've read a quote by, I can't remember, the Eastern philosopher. I put it on the Discord, actually. Let's don't be serious, be sincere. So, because seriousness, I think, equates a lot of not so positive sometimes, even when we're super serious. But we're serious gamers, right? But anyways, welcome everybody. Good to see some of you newcomers, as well as ones racking up frequent flyer points. Ryan West says, "Here, let me enact the sigh. Playing 5e D&D, running DCC. Sweet. Are you running anything specific in 5e, Ryan? Who says playing Traveler and Coriolis? Space. Hoose's Frontier. These are the voyages of Hoose's characters. Their 5-session mission. Hoos continues. He's running Delta Green. Very nice. That's awesome. Jim says, playing Knave, play by post. Is that still going? Is that Harrigan's game still going? That's fantastic. Probably not running anything until OD&D at BSRCon. Fair enough. Good enough. Makes sense. Laramie says, I haven't played anything this year, but I do need to be ready for CheapCon in a couple weeks. What are you running at CheapCon, Laramie? See, just keep this going. You don't get off with a simple answer anymore. Fraser, running a couple of my own systems, both new and playing in D&D 5e game. Now, Fraser, this would be a good opportunity to actually say what those games are that you are, Shameless plugs are always welcome. I mean, just ask Orcus Dorcas. Like, he goes around, like, the name of his show is in his handle, just so he has no shame at all. Oh, Orcus Dorky was, and I thought we had another person. Dang it. Thanks. Well, anyways, your wife is always welcome here, Orcus Dorcas. Just saying. Too hilarious. Wayne says running Vaesen currently, but a lot on the docket with two cons this month. Very, very, very good. And I am in Wayne's Vaesen game, so it's fun. It's cool. It's doing it. I'm enjoying myself, Wayne. Just so you know. Thanks for running. Jib says got 3 players, so I should probably prep. I am indeed confirmed for Jim's OD&D game coming BSRCon in 2 weeks. You guys ready? Less than 2 weeks. It would start 2 weeks from yesterday. Woot woot. Morning, Julie and everyone, Harrigan says. So, apparently that was Orcus Dorcas. Nothing to get worried about. Logged in as... So we know Orcus is Dorcas's wife's name. That's nice. So it's like kind of it's starting to get a little personal around here, which is nice. Nubis says, running the Mothership home campaign, playing in Mosh playtests, played Cairn for the first time this week. Healthy amount of games, have to say. That's fantastic. Fantastic. Morning, Victor. Harrigan says, playing in Wayne's Vaesen game, prepping for my BSRCon 3 Black Hack game, running and playing in many play-by-post games. I think Harrigan listed all the games that he's playing. It's got to be up around 20 for 2023 that he's played. At least 20. Close to 30. I think he had 20 just play-by-post games. Morning, Tiffany. Good to see you. Happy 2024, folks that have just joined. Orcus Dorcas says that to my wife. I am dork/nerd. Well, same here in my world. What's up, Michael? Morning. Good to see you. Roger says, started a new game of Ironsworn with my group last night. How's that going? Weren't you playing something else? Roger, you move around quite a bit. I'm always interested to hear like how you moved to Ironsworn from where you were. Like, did you wrap up the last one? Same group, if you will. Ryan says, yeah, we're playing the Dragonlance Shadow of the Dragon Queen. To my question about what he's playing at 5e. Very nice. Tad, good morning. The question du jour is, what are you playing in 2024? Like currently. Did it cross over from 2023? Because we haven't done a, hey, what are we playing check for a long time. So that's, might as well start off the first stream of the year and asking that question. Tiffany says, I'm playing the Quest Calendar solo game and my family 5e-based Tron game. What? Tron game? Whoa, that sounds fantastic. And then a public access game run by Chris. Very cool. Sounds cool. Oh, excuse me. Sorry. Sounds cool. God. Nelson. Farty McButterpants. Farty McButterpants. Best handle ever. No offense, everybody. Farty. First time I saw Farty McButterpants, like I think of when I first saw it was reading our credits for patrons. Oh, that's so hilarious. Also known as Nelson, playing Delta Green, running Call of Cthulhu. Running Call of Cthulhu. Any particular scenario? I'm interested. Oh, for both, actually. Are you playing? What Delta Green scenario are you playing, and what Call of Cthulhu scenario are you running? If they're scenarios, if they're homebrew, that's cool too. Laramie continues, running Castles and Crusades and Death in Space. Probably a board game at CheapCon. We'll be playing some Alternity, DCC, X-Crawl, Savage Worlds, Deadlands, and a couple others. Fantastique. Fraser says, more important what I'm more than, can I read? More important than what I'm play testing is the Nefertiti Overdrive 2.0 Kickstarter that's happening in February. Woot woot! If I should get sound effects. I'm lacking. I got to step up the stream a little bit. That's awesome, man. So, Fraser, make sure you let us know when you have the page up, so people can go and get notified that when it goes live. Shambot, great intro, thank you. I'm playing in a homebrew 5e with my buddy and his kids, both of which is a first for them. I'm running Dragonbane for 2 new players to the hobby. Interesting. I have a question for Shambot. 2 new players. First of all, so much. So many questions. Hey, I'm running a game for 2 new players to the hobby, not even players to the game or to the group, like to the hobby. Is always gets my brain kind of running. So I have questions for you. Are these individuals that you know that are RPG curious? Are they people that you like? Are they associates? Like maybe they're not close friends, maybe coworkers or something like that are interested in learning RPGs. And how do they know they're playing Dragonbane and not D&D? Like I know there's like this thing about people like new to the hobby and they just want to play D&D. So I'm trying to see how you ended up running Dragonbane for 2 new. The crux of my inquiry is, how did you find these players? Who are they? Who are these new players? And how did you get them to play Dragonbane? Tim Jensen, just playing Trophy Dark and Pirate Borg right now. Good to see you guys, by the way. Wayne says, con games coming up, Monster of the Week, Dragonbane, Rustwater, ×2, and Vaesen. Very well. I'm in the same boat, Orcus. Her account is the YouTube Prime or whatever with no commercials, so that's what I watch on usually. Yeah, I'm the same way, although I don't think my wife knows I pay for Prime, so she's always looking at the commercials. She also doesn't watch, she watches videos, but I don't hear the commercial ads, so I'm not sure if they're just too short to have commercials in them or ads. I don't know what it is. Anyways, Fraser says bye, but playtesting a cyberpunk-style system and one for average folk evolving into demigods in a pre-industrial society. Ooh. Roger says, we were playing Vaesen, following up to my previous inquiry. We were playing Vaesen, but the group wasn't jiving with it, so we canned it. Oh, no. That is a bummer. Did you run it for the folks at Analytic Dice? Was that... Did you? No, because Gabe ran that. If you don't know what I'm referring to, Analytic Dice by Gabe and Kevin, go and check it out. Podcast. They just covered Dragonbane. I watched it. I heard it this morning. I had to listen to it before I got on the stream in case anything came up from that. But also, Morning Brain, we are playing Iron Sworn Starforged. Very, very good. Orcus Dorcas is a new game. Going into session 0 later as a player for Twilight 2000. Orcus Dorcas, have you played Twilight 2000 yet? See, I always got a follow-up question. It's not just easiness here. He continues, still playing or running Pendragon, GURPS, Hyperborea, Warhammer. Well, that's obviously not very many games. I think you should run at least 4 more. I can't even say it with a serious face. Michael Holland said, Michael, morning. Running Pathfinder 2E Abomination Vaults and some society scenarios. Playing Old Gods, Fabula, Ultima, and Marvel RPG at BSRCon 3. Very, very good. Tad says, currently running Vaesen. About to wrap up. Vaesen's getting some airtime around this time of year. Must be that Swedish, I don't know, North American winter. Swedish North American winter. Swedish game, North American winter. That just, I don't know. Go like chocolate and peanut butter maybe. So he says, Pathfinder 2E and Ultraviolet Grasslands. Not to be confused with Ultraviolet Gaslands. Playing in Harrigan's PvP Knave. Still going. Very nice. Want to get some sci-fi to the table soon. Starforged or Mothership or both. Very cool. Very cool. Very, very, very cool. Very cool. Roger says, also run Traveler with 2 new to the hobby players and 3 veterans. Again, I posed the same question to you, Roger. Where did you find the 2 players new to the hobby? We got to get more. We just need to get more. And how did you get them to play Traveler and not D&D? Nelson says, just starting up God's Teeth for Delta Green. We're just starting to move into horror on the Orient Express and Call of Cthulhu. Ooh, that's a beast. We had been stringing a bunch of shorter campaigns together. HOTOE fit in nicely. Horror on the Orient Express fit in nicely. Very cool. It's good when things transition to something like that, right? Orcus Dorcas says, I forgot. Also playing in a Knights Black Agents one-shot next week for the first time. It's set as a 1960s spy theme, apparently. Looking forward to it. Are you going to be dressing up like Austin Powers? Yeah, baby. Vampires, baby. Ow. Saltheart, there he is. In the flesh. In the flesh, baby. If you can name that where that quote is from, let me know. In the flesh, baby. Thunderlips, the ultimate male, in the flesh, baby. Salthard gearing up for Jackals because he's gonna have to talk about it on Analytic Dice. Nope. Is that the response? Nope to dressing up like Austin Powers? I'm gonna guess so, but Orcus Dorcas. Oh, he's referring to Nope. It's the first time he has not played in Twilight 2000. First time. Interesting. Cool. Shambot, filling me in on my what? How did you find these guys or women, whoever they may be, players? One is a close friend who is familiar with board games, and the other is a friend of his who also plays board games. I started with the board game friend, and that's how I got him interested in TTRPG. All right. Got it. I see it now. It's coming together. Hope they enjoy it. No pressure. Just so you know, no pressure. Because, first exposure to a game master, you could chase them off, or you might have RPG fans for life. It's so, just saying, Shambot. Jason, good to see you. Morning. Question du jour is, what game are you playing in 2024? Currently, what games are you playing, running, whatever. We haven't done playing game check. What I'm playing now. So since it's the beginning of the year, Happy New Year, by the way. Some of you, I've hoped to see my Happy New Year greeting in our Discord community, but if you haven't, let me extend it to you formally here. Bravo to folks recruiting new players to the hobby, right? Yes. Plus 1,000 XP to each and every one of you per player, per new player, 1,000 XP. Rob, hope you're doing all right. I should say you're probably doing fine right now. So that's good. Good to see you. Sometimes 9 a.m. comes too quickly. 9 a.m.? Man, Hoos is out there waking up at 6. Out on the western shores. Out on the western shores of the United States. That's my accent from somewhere. You'll notice that Fraser's in the chat, so two guys at the hip. It's like Rhett and Link. Who I never knew. Brett and I had been compared to at one point in time. I see the similarities. I never knew who they were, though. Roger continues and educating me on where he found his new players. The newbies are friends of my wife. Whoa. Uh-oh. Don't steal your wife's friends. No, I'm just kidding. Now my friends don't want to hang out with me. They just want to play RPGs with my husband. The husband has been interested in gaming, so I don't think he's brand new. The wife is along for the ride. Oh, very nice. I offered 5 game pitches to the group, and they voted. Ah, very cool. Wow. Well done, sir. Well done. What is everybody playing in 2024 right now? Yeah. See, I knew Hoos would chime in. What? 9? That's sleeping in. Day's almost over. Hoos is like, I do more before 8 a.m. Like the old army slogan. We do more by 8 than most people do in an entire day. Shambot says, I found the Dragonbane set to be really friendly for newcomers. Accidental Rob, what are you playing? What are you playing in 2024? Like currently? We've asked like what you want to run, what you want to play, blah, blah, blah. But what are you running now, currently? Playing or running? Any RPGs? Fraser beat me to it. There it is. Jim knows the deal. Hulk Hogan and Rocky 3. Yeah, baby. That was a great movie. It was I think that was the first Rocky movie I had seen. We went, it was a group of us. It was a buddy of mine. God, we had to have been junior high, maybe. What year was it? 80 something? So he had to have been in junior high. I don't even think we were freshmen yet. And he had a birthday. Andy was his name. I know exactly who it is. I know who everybody was that was there. And then his mom took us to see Rocky 3. And then a bunch of hyped up, sugar injected young boys after Rocky 3. Yeah, it was probably chaos. Like, who wants to beat the hell out of each other? Sure. Yeah, that was fun. Might have been Andy's 13th birthday, maybe? I don't even know. 12? Andy, big football card collector. Like, that guy had the biggest football card collection I had ever seen. That was always a thing, to go to his house and see all his cards. He'd have cards none of us would ever have, and he just had them lying all over the floor. He had so many, he didn't care. What are you playing? What are you playing right now? So as the clock strikes 2024, the calendar, what are you playing? It's January 6th. Games playing or running. Accidental Rob says, Star Trek Adventures. I'm the Vulcan captain of the USS Lexington in 2269. But do you wear a shirt? Do you wear the gold, like Lexington 2269? That's the original series then, right? It's got to be. 2269 is pretty far back. And the Lexington, I would imagine it kind of got recycled as time went on, but I know the Lexington is the original series. It's actually in the original series. Running Pathfinder's second edition Abomination Vaults. Well, that seems like a popular one. Also running Delta Green. What are you running Delta Green, Rob? What scenario? If it is a scenario. Tiffany says I'm 6 a.m. here too. Yeah, hey, just for you West Coasters, you get 500 XP each. There you go. Do with it what you want. Don't spend it all in one place. Laramie, it was a Rocky movie. Yep. Same with Orcus Dorcas. West Coasters represent. Jason says our Gamma World group is still limping along virtually. Don't let it fizzle. Everybody's doing temp checks. I'm getting snow outside right now. We've got to have an inch, maybe. Inch and a half, 2 inches. 21, 22, whatever it takes. Again, another movie reference. 21, 22, whatever it takes, whatever. I don't think I have that quote correct, but. You gonna go 20, you gonna go 22, 21, 22, whatever it takes. My brain is like oatmeal. I was watching shows with Kenny, and I'm liking him. I'm losing it. Smash the like button. Yes, please. Accidental Rob. Thanks for the prompt. If you think you may enjoy the rest of this stream, or if you enjoyed it up to this point, smash the like button on the computer screen with your mouse button. Don't smash your monitor. If you like to subscribe and get notifications, well, you hit the subscribe button twice. Or is it subscribe and then there's a bell next to it? I don't remember. Any little help goes a long ways. Because my goal for this year, here, I'm going to put it out there. My goal for this year is to get to a million subscribers. There. You put it, it's totally attainable. I'm just going to come out of nowhere and skyrocket to 1 million. I don't even know if there's an RPG, a specific RPG YouTuber that's hit 1 million yet. I don't know if there are 1 million RPG players. Now, some of you, like Sean, of course there are. Like D&D sold 50 million copies, but well, it could be those million players buying multiple copies. Okay, I'm just saying. Delta Green, Accidental Rob, music from a darkened room. Ouch. Dudes, I've got people in the chat that are like, dude, are we going to play that again? I started it right after Halloween and I never got back to it. I got thrown off my groove in that first session so badly. So I apologize to Michael Holland and who's it? Michael, Jim is in there. Mirko's one of them. Who's the other fourth player? I apologize. I can't remember. It's been so long. Chris Sneezak. So yeah, I got to get back to that one or finish it. I don't know. I've kind of burned that game to the ground by just not responding to these guys. Bad game master. Tad, you win. Mr. Mom. Michael Keaton's Mr. Mom. Well done. Bravo. Beer? It's 10 a.m. Scotch? Well, that's what it is. 110, 120, whatever it takes. Thank you. Thank you for correcting me. 110, 120, whatever it takes. Answers the door with a chainsaw. Oh, hey, how's it going? Maddie Q, good morning. Thanks, Maddie. Appreciate it. No recap. All right, no recap needed, he says. Critical Role has 2.17 million subs on YouTube. Okay, they got me. I totally forgot about the Master DM, the Master Dungeon Master. Yeah, that would be a hard one to beat. But I don't know if anybody else comes close. Dimension 20 maybe? I don't know. But is Dimension 20 just RPGs? Okay, I want to be the first RPG YouTuber to hit 1 million that isn't actual play. Strictly. Okay, you guys with me? Are you guys on board? Can you guys be part of my core team to get me there? Sean, you kind of have to put out some stuff though. These videos just aren't going to cut it. They're not going to get to 1 million, dude. Ye of little faith. Michael says it's all good. He's referring to my Delta Green game. Michael actually chimed up and said, "Hey, so yeah, can we? What do you think of getting this back on the calendar?" Like, just didn't respond. Oh, I'm sorry, Michael. Matty Q says I have Sim Room and Hyperborea on Tuesdays and 5e on Mondays. See, it's funny. Like, I think sometimes we get like if you were on our Discord, and sometimes on the Saturday streams, you'd think none of us played 5e. There's a lot of 5e. Like, we still play 5e. But there are many of us, it's just not our first choice. Again, we get kind of pulled into it from players at our table. So there's plenty of love for 5e around. Well, there's plenty of playing of 5e around, I should say. Ben, why? Good to see you, Ben. Ben, what are you playing in 2024 currently? Any RPGs? Robert, good to see you. Mr. Mom Quote, you win. You're runner-up, but nonetheless, still a winner. Oh, there you go. Ryan says, I had to go check when you said it. Dimension 20 has 872,000 subs. I gotta do better. Million. Can you imagine? I can't imagine having that many subscribers. Yes, I can. No, I can't. It's a lot. That is a lot. That is, and it's totally doable in this world. Like I listen, it's not that you need to have something go viral, because I don't think that's like with the intention. Like, if it does, great. But if I'm going to try, I don't know, what kind of viral things can I come up with, and hot takes and, rage bait to get a bunch of subscribers. But I think at one point, like, I don't even know if I get notified for new subscribers. At one point, up until like 900 or something, you'd get an email notification like this person subscribed. It would be cool. But I got to imagine it. I think at one point they stopped doing that for email notifications. I can't imagine if you did like hockey stick. It's a lot per day. I would be blown away. I'm blown away that I have even as many as I do. Thanks to you guys. No, I already solicited Matty Q. Everyone, please acknowledge Sean's ham-handed attempt to have you all like and subscribe. No, that was earlier. We already put it out there. D&D Shorts has 414 subs. That's as mass market as you can get in RPGs. Yeah. What amazes me with that guy is that guy. I don't know. I think Matt Colville's got more. Colville's got more than D&D Shorts, I'm pretty sure. What amazes me about him is the Kickstarter he's had. Him and Kelsey, right? So Kelsey, who did Shadow Dark, never did a Kickstarter. First one's like over millions of dollars. Like, it's crazy. Over $1 million. Like, that's nuts. It's just, that's exciting. That's all I gotta say. Ginny D at 635. Okay. And they didn't start yesterday. Not that I did either, but their videos are obviously more consistent and better. Plug BSRCon? I suppose. Wayne says I should plug BSRCon. We do still have games that still could use players. the ratio that it's starting to shrink though, which is good because I don't like to have game masters that submit games and then they don't have any players and then they got to cancel their games. So I think we got a good balance this year, but there's still some that are open. I signed up for 2 in like the last couple days. Actually, I'm like I'm not doing anything Friday as long as I can find something in the morning, and then I think I even signed up for a Sunday game, which I usually like to leave my Sunday game. Sunday is pretty open, but for the con, hey. So yeah, BSR Con is this month, 19th to the 21st. I think even Hobbs is willing to run an off-grade game if people are kind of lounging around. Maybe a game gets canceled. Expect Hobbs to offer something up that's fantasy. It could be OSE. I know he tends to run a OSE or a low fantasy RPG. Badges are going to remain open. I don't know if I'm even going to close them. I'll probably close them Sunday. Well, why wouldn't you close them earlier? Because if somebody wants to donate, so half the proceeds that will come through the door are going to get donated to the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society here in the U.S., which I've done the last 2 gaming conventions. So we're up. I think we've contributed like, I don't know, $1,000, $600, $600 to $1,000 to them over the last couple of years. Thanks to each one of you. So you got to buy a badge. Here, I suppose I should probably put the link in the old show notes. You got to buy a badge first, and then you can register for games. And the badge is $10, and that gets you into any game. You don't have to pay extra for each game. What else was I going to say? You can opt to run a game. You could still submit a game to be on grid. I'm not closing that down until probably Friday of the convention. But you got to have a badge to register a game or submit a game. But yeah, a lot of people here in the chat are going to be there. Many of them are running games. And we have a very wide variety of different types of games. Like at one point in time, we had like 20, 25 games or close to 30 games, and none of them were the same system. Like, it's crazy. Now I think there's a couple of this or a couple of that, but it's not a ton. Like there's a couple of Savage Worlds games, I think. Well, there's, yeah. There you go. There's the link. It's down in the chat. $440,000 for Matt? Huh. I thought he was closer to 800, but I guess I'm wrong. My New Year's resolution is to have more games than CR has subscribers. Whoa. Says Tiffany. Ooh, that's a feat. Yeah, and Ted says, I'm sure I'll be playing some 5e with folks from work this year. Yeah. There you go, Sean. Cosplay. That's your key. Oh, I have a cosplay outfit. I do. Not what you're thinking cosplay, but cosplay? Yeah. That's what's going to get me to 1 million. Tim says if you want a big Kickstarter, you have to build a market first. Yeah. Well, for sure. Like you can't I don't know. I'm going to give this RPG design thing a roll. Like I have not put out any RPG product. Well, that's not true. Matt has done RPG work in the past, and his YouTube following. I was going to say, you can't just wake up one day being an RPG enthusiast, decide to put out a product and have $1 million Kickstarter. That's what Tim's saying. You got to maybe have an audience ahead of time. Geo Rock, good to see you. Hello, I'm playing Forbidden Lands. Just played last night. Very fun. First time, sounds like. And as a player, very nice. Very cool. We are fans of, some of us are big fans of Forbidden Lands. You can still submit games too. Yes, Wayne. Yep. That's interesting for Colville. 400,000 followers, 30,000 backers of the recent Kickstarter seems a lot, but that's a lot of followers not backing. Yeah. Yeah, and I wonder I mean that is as close to transparency as we can get, right? Other than like financial calls from Wizards or Hasbro. Like how many people will back a Kickstarter that is an avid follower of said person? Like we don't have the email lists that people have signed up for, insert company. More than 90% not backing him. But that'll I think many people won't back it, but many will buy it after the fact. He did run his Kickstarter over the holidays. That's true. Yeah, I'm nothing to judge that metric by, but MCDM is doing well money wise for sure. Yeah. But it's interesting to say, like, as you're sitting down doing projections, if you will, it would be interesting to kind of go, okay, so I've got, 400,000 subscribers on YouTube. He has I want to say, how many does he have on Twitch? 60,000? Because he's got a few on Twitch. And of course, some of those YouTubers are probably Twitchers and then vice versa, but not all of them. Like some folks are like, I'm only YouTube or I'm only Twitch. They don't really cross over too much. I would see somebody with like Matt having people in both spaces. And then sitting down and going, okay, well, if I have so many followers on Twitch, so many followers on, say Twitter or X and Facebook or whatever social media site, and then so many subscribers, what could I expect? You can expect 10% of your audience to kickstart something. And if that were the case for me, I don't think I would get 100 people. I wouldn't get 100 people. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'd get 100. I think a lot follow the subscribe and forget format. I subscribed to Colville and really haven't watched a video from him in a very long time. Yeah, I would say yeah. Ryan says better be a chainmail bikini for my cosplay. Is that what you're saying, Ryan? Really? It better be? Seriously? No, you don't want that. Eric Frankhouse, good to see you, man. How are you? What are you playing here in 2024 there, Hoss? Eric's usually got 3 games in the mix. Yeah, man, I'm still rooting for a cosplay heavy Passion actual play. Passion, what is it? Passionis? It's the teledrama. The Latin and Mexican teledrama. Telenovela? Yeah, telenovela. Yeah. RPG is what he's referring to. If you and Brett started putting out good D&D supplements 5 years ago and kept doing them every year, you might be doing $1 million Kickstarters now. What could have been? That's a true statement, though. You're absolutely right, Tim. The only tricky thing with $1 million Kickstarters is you don't make $1 million. And I let the pros do it. Matt, Kelsey, I'm missing tons of names, right, that have put out there. Gavin Norman, like those guys. Some of the indie creators that have done really well. D&D Shorts is Kickstarter, crowdfunding campaign. I'll let those guys go bonkers. I've never sat down and said, oh, you know what? I would love to do a supplement, or I would love to do a scenario and then do it consistently all the time. I've never been that guy. Probably because I've always been off the shelf kind of guy. I'm lazy. Just lazy. I mean, look at the amount of videos here. Live stream. I'm going to get on there and hit the stream button. But when it comes to like, okay, I'm going to think of an idea. I'm going to record it, edit it, and then publish it. Like, what a pain in the ass. I think Colville had over 60,000 followers on his backer kit, and half of those backed. What's up, Phil? Good morning, man. Yeah. Also, having a video channel as opposed to audio-only podcasts helps a lot, too. People want to watch 10-minute videos, not listen to 2-hour podcasts. Yeah, that's an interesting dynamic. I don't think it's the 10-minute watch, 2-hour podcast because I don't understand. I have to comment on this. I don't understand the people that don't want to listen to 2-hour podcasts. I don't understand it. People are like, have it 30 minutes, have it as a drive length in time. How long should it be? I'm just kind of curious because I heard if it's too long, people won't listen to the whole thing. And I'm like, new show, play, drive to work, 30 minutes, get to work, stop, do my job, go on the way home, play, same episode, play, finish it out. Like I don't know, man. I don't understand. It's on demand. Like, I don't understand why people just don't do that. Like, I don't know if it's when I start, I have to start it and I have to finish it. And it all has to be in one go. I will say this, though, to Tim's point. I think the difference is discovery. That's the biggest difference. Audio podcasts have the discovery ability is like terrible. It always has been. They haven't fixed it. They don't know. Maybe Spotify has helped. I don't know. But Apple and iTunes and Apple Podcasts and any other type of platform, RSS feed, there's just no discoverability. And YouTube crushes it. Absolutely crushes discoverability. Because they'll throw somebody like me that has like 50 subscribers into somebody's feed just to see if you're interested. Like, hey, I don't know, this guy's recording this. Throw it into Tim Jensen's feed on YouTube. If Tim is like intrigued and clicks on it, oh, well, and then he stays on there for any length of time, they can measure all that and then continue to feed you the same thing. And maybe you subscribe. Podcasts, forget about it. There's so many, not that there isn't any on YouTube, enough YouTube videos, but discoverability blows ass on audio podcasts. Quote me. Colville has 85,000 subs on Twitch. Thank you guys. Yeah. So yeah, I thought I had 60, so 85 and a half. Got an audience, man. You don't need 1 million followers, just a couple hundred or 1,000 rabid fans. Isn't there a book like that? There's a book like 1,000 fans. That's true, and I think many a circle. No, about RPGs. Eric says, eat the Reich for Eric Frankhouse Presents Con. You had an Eric Frankhouse Presents Con, and I didn't know? What? 2 live shows are John Wick, 1970s, Using Everyday Heroes. Am I setting oh man, not even going to try to Ethuantia? I don't know. Superstitions using Pathfinder 2E, but I've hit some walls in PF2E for horror. Interesting. How do you like Everyday Heroes for high action? Does it capture it enough? Morning, Joe. I'm gonna get to stuff. We're like way behind, but it's warm up. Kevin says, I listen to my own podcast at 1.3 speed, many others at 1.5 speed. Yeah. Jason says, I would never kickstart anything but a zine. Who needs to become a supply chain expert? I mean, if I did a Kickstarter or crowdfunder, I would probably want to just do PDF. Like, you want to print it? Go ahead. I don't know if I would even do print on demand through drive-through, because then you got to futz around with emails and getting them into the account for drive-through and then making sure you get the coupons to everybody. I would just like, here is the PDF. You want to print it? Go nuts. Do it on your own. Here's a link to Lulu, and maybe after the fact have a print-on-demand print version on drive-through where it's all laid out, typeset and everything. But man, do people want to watch 1 hour streams? That's a question. You guys are, I think most of you hang out for about an hour. I have to double check. I got to look at my analytics and see when you guys usually drop off. I would probably guess at about an hour 15 or an hour. Yeah, probably an hour 15, maybe. You might show up late. If you're early, you drop off early. There's probably parts of this that you guys are like, whoa. Oh, crowdsourcing? No thanks. Yeah, I've had enough time balancing my own funds and getting my taxes out on time. I can't imagine trying to organize and audit a $4 million Kickstarter. It's crazy. Ooh, excuse me. Laramie podcast discoverability is nearly all word of mouth. It is. So stop asking for reviews. This is my message to audio podcasters. Stop asking for reviews on Apple iTunes. I don't know if reviews help on Spotify. I can say that. I don't know. But it does absolutely, utterly nothing in the Apple ecosystem. No, it does not help people find your podcast. No, it does not help you rise up the charts. It's all based on subscription through the Apple iTunes store. The best call to action a podcaster can do to their audience, other than if they're trying to sell a product and they want, hey, we've got an advertiser, buy their product using my code, shows that their advertising is effective on my show. The other thing is to ask them to share your show with somebody else. Can you tell somebody else about Analytic Dice? That's the best thing you can do. That's how you grow your audience on audio podcasts. I will frickin' stand on that hill and die on it. Reviews are fine, but they're not going to grow your audience unless the platform specifically says, and you can see a direct correlation. And I could tell you on Apple, it's not. If Spotify says, million reviews, you're at the top, and it doesn't matter how many subscribers you have, which is complete malarkey. Now, if it's both, there might be an algorithm for both, and that may be Spotify. Only speaking to Apple Podcasts here, folks. So somebody's going to come in here, it's not true. Well, it is on Apple. God damn it. Oh, I'm way behind. I'm catching up. Scrolling down. Skipping a few. Sorry. Harrigan says Spotify does have an algorithm. Interesting. For reviews. So they do consider reviews in the algorithm. That would not surprise me. Because it makes sense. Apple just has never done it. But people think it is part of it. And I know an episode, like I used to listen to podcasts about podcasting, and there's a couple movers and shakers in that space. And one person, actually it was like a team of 3 people looked at Apple and tried to figure out what it was. And there is an actual algorithm. It's like N subscriber within the first day. And then it's like N to the first power time plus whatever times this N. And so it's how many subscribers you have in a certain amount of period consistently over time. And you could have 0 reviews and be the number 1 frickin' show on Apple. And I think that was also seen well, they're the top podcast, but they have no reviews. Well, that'll tell you it's not reviews powering it. Get my blood riled up because it just makes me cringe every time I listen to a podcast that says, hey, leave us a review, and it's because it helps us grow to the top and people find us better. No, they don't. Maybe on Spotify now. I don't know. Harrigan says, no idea if reviews /comments matter, but it will suggest things to you. And that may be a thing that's different too on Spotify, is that if they have a suggestion thing, that's probably, I mean, it's better than Apple Podcasts because they don't have that. Not on the app. They do have it on Apple. I am misspeaking. They do have it. If you go into a listing on Apple Podcasts, other people have listened to these, and they're all down below. But it's not based, I don't know what it's based. That is only probably based on the fact that Harrigan has listened to my show and this show. And since that is a data point, we'll keep track of that. And if there's a few of those combinations, then we will put that related show down below. So if you go to Misdirected Dark, people that listen to this show listen to, Gaming and BS, and then vice versa. But it's not on reviews. Spotify might be a whole different ballgame. That I gotta admit that I don't know all the deets about Spotify. I lost track of Spotify. Well, I never got into Spotify because it was Anchor. And so I knew a little bit about Anchor, but then Spotify bought them. Should we get into RPGs? Let's get into RPGs, huh? I got a few things to talk about this week. Let's see. Oh, let me guess. I cannot. Will it open? Yes, it will. No, it won't. Yeah, some of my links are messed up again. Whatever. Start out. So the grandfather of Warhammer, Brian Ansell, has died. I did not know Brian by name, but anybody in our hobby who's contributed in the past to making it what it is today, or contributed in some kind, even down to you guys, putting out a game, people play it, they experience it, it can be very impactful, I would say, even if it's a smaller audience. It doesn't have to be Warhammer or Games Workshop, but nonetheless, I want to just recognize Brian Ansell's passing. So if you're not familiar with Brian, he was the man who made Warhammer the Heart of Games Workshop's business. So he passed away. He was responsible for Games Workshop's transformation from an importer, distributor, and retailer of board games and RPGs into a manufacturer of miniature war games. So he co-authored the first. Many of you Warhammer fans may know this. I don't. I'm not tuned into that Warhammer ecosystem or Games Workshop. But regardless, he co-authored the first edition of Warhammer Fantasy Battle War game and made the Warhammer IP the focus of Games Workshop's creative output. He started in the gaming industry, was co-founding fantasy miniature maker Asgard Miniatures in 1976, alongside Stephen Fitzwater and Paul Sully. Then those minis attracted the attentions of Games Workshop's founders, Ian Livingstone and Steve Jackson. Not the Steve Jackson from GURPS, different Steve Jackson. And in 1978, they collaborated with Ansell to found Citadel Miniatures. Some of us know Citadel, a subsidiary that produced miniatures exclusively for Games Workshop from a base in Newark in the East Midlands. Then Citadel fast became the most profitable part of Games Workshop, and then Ansell took over management of the firm from Jackson and Livingstone, who were all too happy to devote more time to the lucrative fighting fantasy game book series. Am I right? Maybe I'm wrong. Is it the same Steve Jackson? I thought it was different. I thought there were two Steve Jacksons in the industry. Maybe I'm wrong. Due to the fighting fantasy. Ansell began a concerted effort to refocus the business around the manufacture and sale of its different Steve Jackson. Thanks, Harrigan. I thought so. Ansell began a concerted effort to refocus the business around the manufacture and sale of its own miniatures. Warhammer Fantasy Battle was a key part of this effort. While GW models were marketed as D&D miniatures, Ansell reasoned quite correctly that people would buy a lot more of them if they had a war game to play with them. So his design goals for the game were fairly simple. It must allow players to use every model that Citadel currently produced, and it must only use D6s, which everyone would have access to. I like the thinking. The game, published in 1983, was hugely successful. YouTuber Snipe and Wib gave an excellent rundown on what the original edition. There's a YouTube here. I'll put a link in the chat in just a second. Ansel bought out Livingstone and Jackson in 85 and soon consolidated the firm's operations to Newark. This caused some umbrage among staff at the firm's original London office, particularly the then editorial team of White Dwarf. And then things got a little muddy. First letters of items on the contents page, there's an Easter egg, of White Dwarf 77, published in 86, spell sod off Brian Ansel. Sod off. And it just, man, how insulting. She just told me to sod off. And an advert in the back of the magazine shows a gravestone with the prediction, Games Workshop Publications, rest in peace, or RIP. So he was not involved in 87's Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader. Many concepts in it, from power armor to bolt guns to techno-feudalism, had appeared in 80's Laser Burn, which Ansel co-authored with Halliwell. And you can learn more about that here. There's another video. And then, so he sold his holdings in Games Workshop in 1991, but remained part of the war games industry. And then in 83, I shouldn't say then in 83. In 83, it started a separate miniature manufacturer, War Games Foundry. It was a retirement activity for his father. And then as Citadel had cycled out non-Warhammer miniatures from its ranges, Foundry had acquired the molds and rights, and many early Games Workshop models are still available from the firm today. And he continued to be part of that, they call it the Old Hammer community of retro war gamers, and hosting the annual Bring Out Your Lead convention at the War Games Foundry premises each year. So there you go. Let's see. Boom, 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 boom. Do we want to go there? Do we? All right. I'm gonna. I think. I'm not. Am I not? No, because I can't find a link. Oh, this Notion, man. I gotta paste these things correctly. Darn it. I don't want the article. I want the link to the article. Yeah, boy. I am not on the Book of Faces, and I found this actually on EN World. It was cross-posted. So I posted it in Discord, got a little bit of discussion going on. If you're not in the know and familiar with this, Ben Riggs, author of the dragon book, Slaying Dragons. Slaying the Dragon, Secret History of Dungeons and Dragons, which is a decent book. Ben is not far from where I live, and he put that book out, and I thought, if you want a little bit of history of D&D and TSR, it's a decent book. Put out an essay, I guess, if you will, about the golden age of TTRPGs is dead. And so Ben goes into saying why it's dead. And it's gotten a lot of discussion around in the hobby, like publisher people that have worked in the hobby for 20, 30 years have commented on this, whether they agree with it or not, or I think Owen Casey Stevens was like, what an insightful, intelligent essay, all of which I don't agree with. Like something to that effect. So I know it's gross. Go to EN World. EN World has it. My link is not to EN World. I can't even pull it up. So if you're interested in reading it, go for it. I do think it is an interesting look at what's going on in the hobby. I just don't, my humble opinion is I don't think it's an apples to apples comparison. And some of it is probably, I mean, Ben wrote a book on TSR and D&D, and there is obviously some things that led to TSR's demise, and it's been written in of Dice and Men by Mr. Ewalt, and there's John Peterson has written a book on some of this stuff, and those things are pretty consistent. They're probably all using similar sources, so they get the same information. Some of the demise from TSR, I don't think crosses over to current day. Back in those days, there weren't social media or the things that have allowed the RPG hobby to prosper like it does now. Back then, there weren't things in place like that, like the OGL, Kickstarter, and crowdfunding, and things of that nature. So it is, as some would say, well, that's certainly a take. Let's see how that works out for him. But, will it fracture? Is it over? Will, people have to choose camps and sides? We've been doing that for a while now, many of us. One thing I think is going to be interesting, as my take is 5th edition brought in a lot of new players to the hobby, a lot of younger players than the folks that grew up with BX, 1st edition AD&D, 2nd edition AD&D. Hell, even 3.0 is getting pretty old now. And so with there has been talks and things that have been put out there that basically says anytime there's a new edition, we'll say of D&D, and it could be anything, could be Pathfinder for that matter, you lose a part of the customer base in the new edition. So if you have 50,000 people playing Pathfinder, well, I don't know if it's half, but you will lose. But they go to Pathfinder 2E, there's going to be people that don't buy that new edition from the current customer base. So how did 5e grow? Like, we're not keeping it alive. And I think there's also I like demographics because it's an interesting. I would love to learn more about demographics, but I think there's probably too much math that I would care for in that space. But as the people that were much younger that got into 5e, didn't have a lot of disposable income, starts to get older, they will either continue to buy Wizards of the Coast products, or they will venture out into other things and buy more other things. And I think that the hobby will still continue to grow. I got to admit that Paizo, I have to think that Paizo, Kobold Press, I don't know, Steve Jackson Games, insert publisher here, is doing more in sales than they did 10 years ago. I would hope that they are. Just in general. Doesn't mean they're making more money, but I have to think that they are selling more product. And with that more money, I guess, I'm trying to think like marketing wise, or how do I put it? Comparison wise, if you were to, everything's being equal and you took market conditions into consideration, that they are hopefully making more money than they were 10 years ago. So I think there's a little hyperbole in some of this, although I don't think some of his statements are unfounded or untrue or don't have any type of basis behind them. I just don't think it's like the doom and gloom that might be conveyed. So if people take off from 5th edition and they have to choose Tales of the Valiant or MCDM, they could choose both and buy them. They may not run them. But what if they don't run them, Sean? Like, we have games on our bookshelf. If we don't run those games, how does that impact the sales of those games? One could say, well, as a game master, like, we're all nutty game masters. We buy all kinds of games. It doesn't mean we run them all. If we do run a game, so if I say, hey, I'm going to run Shadow Dark West Marches, more than likely the players that want to be involved, if they don't have Shadow Dark, they'll probably go out and buy that game That's why I think game masters are at the root of this. Like, I really think they're a driving force in this hobby, and they're, you know, I don't know. Ooh, a lot to unpack in that essay. I would read it if you haven't. Orcus Dorcas says, "Oof, this one was a big foot meat mouth post." Yeah. Read it on Ian World. Ryan said, "Yeah, Ben wanted to get noticed. Weird take, otherwise. I don't know. I mean, he's writing another book. I mean, and there's people like, who's Ben Riggs? Like, who's that guy? What does he know? I mean, come on. The guy wrote a book and did some research, and I don't want to put him off as knowing nothing. Oh, he's never put out a single RPG. Like, there's lots of people that think that folks like me shouldn't exist because I haven't put out an RPG product. I acknowledge that. I'm not gonna, someone needs to write a book, RPGs that are not D&D. So to your point, Tiffany, then it's Designers and Dragons. If you really want to know about all the hobby and all the books, assuming, because I heard they got a few things crossed over in the recent article that they did. But I would think the earlier books in that series are probably pretty accurate. That would be a decent series. Wayne says, things will end, trends change, profound. Right, exactly. I mean, if you were around when 4th edition came out, that was a whole crazy debacle. I mean, they were talking about getting rid of the OGL for that game. They still haven't announced how the new edition of D&D is going to be released, under what license. I'm going to bet D&D, whatever the next edition is going to be called, if there is even an edition, we'll call it 6.0 2024, what post 5e, whatever you want to, whatever moniker it's going to take on. There's going to be a license to it. It's going to be pretty restrictive. It's going to be more restrictive than the OGL. I'm nostalgic for 3.0 and Pathfinder now these days. You are a complex guy, Gabe. Gabe he's a complex man. Complex player. Pathfinder. Oh boy. 3.0. Oh man. I don't know. Tim says, I don't agree with his assertion that RPGs will become less interesting and creative. Yeah. I mean, he does say fantasy games, how many fantasy games, right? Harrigan says, I wonder if his publicist was like, hey, you need to attract some attention to the book. Maybe. Who knows? Gabe, don't do a game with 3.0. Well, it's doom and gloom for WotC, but that might be good news for small press and indie game makers. Well, but how about indie contributors to 5e? They had to find another wagon to hitch another hitch to connect their wagon to. 5e will remain the cultural entry point for new gamers, especially teens. Yes. Will there be people that play 5e for the rest of their lives? Yes. Will there be people that have 5e was their first RPG ever and went on to not only continue to play 5e, but play other games? Yes. Will there be players that have played 5e, started or not there, and will never play it again? Yes. They all live in the same world that we do. Ryan says, I still use the books. Don't get me wrong, but I'm done with systems. I'm done with the systems. Okay. Thought you might have said done with systems. Which would be tough to play RPGs. I don't know if this premise of what makes it a golden age is correct. I'd agree. Thank you, Shambot. Accidental Rob. We buy all sorts of games. Doesn't mean we run them all. I've heard this from my wife. Why do you have all this stuff? You never use them. Well, Rob? Chris, good to see you, man. Happy New Year. It was a weird take by Ben. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it was weird. I don't know. I mean, I think he's trying to go, hey, this kind of history repeats itself. Like, hey, because there was a huge, so for those that aren't familiar with some of the details of TSR's demise, there was probably a few moving pieces that really tanked that company. One of them that has been stated in some of these books and resources and research is that they were putting out so many different settings at one time that people and consumers, us with the dollars, were getting into a setting, insert setting name, Birthright, Dark Sun, Planescape, whatever, and not buying anything else. And so they were spending more money putting out all these different ones and fracturing things, where if they had just done one setting, everybody would buy that all the time. I don't know if that's necessarily true. But anyways, there was a lot of cost, a lot of box sets, and they weren't making as much money on some of those products. And then it fractured, apparently, right? Like, well, I want to play D&D, but I don't want to play Birthright. I want to play Dark Sun. So the only thing that I would buy that would be put out by TSR would be a Dark Sun product. Meanwhile, they're putting out Birthright and Planescape, and there's probably 10 other ones that I'm not thinking of right now, Ravenloft, and I'm not buying any of those. Not Dark Sun, I'm not buying them. So there's obviously a lot of cost. But yeah, how they offset that with, like, if they're doing the same amount of print runs for each one, that would be a problem. They would just have to do smaller runs. But there's a lot of resources behind creating those things. Anyways, MCDM has a great following and promises a book with a name as of yet unknown. New folks to gaming will not get it. We'll see. We'll see. It's not out yet. New people could buy that book. It's going to be 2 years before he puts that out, I think. And by then, that could be what insert MCDM's title of fantasy role-playing game. Oh, it's great. It's awesome. It's super, super great. And my first game is the MCDM role-playing game. You know, this was Kickstarted. No, I didn't know that. Oh, yeah. How long has it been around? You know, it's been out. It's whatever. I don't know. It was a very one-sided view, full of opinions, which is fine. Opinions are fine, but the topic he chose needed harder facts. Monsters, Aliens, and Holes in the Ground is another cool book by Stu Horvath. So good plug for Stu, says Ryan. Just came out right around the holidays. I haven't seen it. I think some of you have bought it. I think Phil bought it. Phil McClory. I heard it's good. A lot of people, when talking about it being a golden age, have talked about the variety of games. He seems to be focusing on a singular system, multiple publishers in his definition. Well, and it's very, very 5e, very D&D centric, right? It's Wizards, OGL, spin-offs like Cobalt Press, Tales of the Valiant, Paizo, like everything that is fractured from there. It's like Microsoft's. If you're familiar with the tech sector, it's like when Steve Ballmer was overseeing Microsoft and he just waged war on Linux. And Linux, is like, they were going to banish Linux from the world, and it never happened. Yeah. Orcus says, I'm just a little tired of the rising tide quote when it comes to WotC, because you get people like Ben who feel WotC sinking has the opposite effect. Yeah. Yeah. And Golden Age is the rise of creativity and art, and not sales and metrics of people joining the hobby. I've seen that, yes. Right. It's the end of the world as we know it. Who wants to play Mutant Crawl Classics or Gamma World? Just actually looked at the video here as I've been listening. Love the shirt. Thank you, Joe. How many fantasy games do we need? Why should RPGs be different than other art entertainment forms? Is there a limit on fantasy novels, detective fiction? Weird. Yeah, true. Yeah, but I think those are. That's Wayne. Ooh, yeah. Why should it be different? I guess it shouldn't be. I'm not an avid reader, and I don't. I mean, I guess your point I understand better now. You have opened my eyes, Wayne. But I'm also not like, hey, I only read true crime, and I'm a voracious reader of true crime. That's probably the difference. But I guess I can see your point. The stories might be different. I don't know about mechanics, right? Like, I think there is a machine behind the RPG, which is like the mechanics or system, where with books and novels and video games, I suppose in video games probably not a good analogy because there's probably different mechanics behind those and how it works. One, I would say, like, the only, I guess, counterpoint to that would be the story that comes out of the game. It may be an analog to the like books. I could see where you're saying like why like you that my thinking of like why do we need another fantasy RPG is like saying, oh, Hollywood's going to put out another action movie, whoop-de-doo. And to some degree, I actually see that as the same. Like, we need another action movie. Well, it's John Wick, man. I don't know. Said on this Discord, creativity and choice within the hobby is at an all-time high, but so is commoditization through do-it-yourself tooling and an overabundance of you enter the kobold lair sect. Says Jason, yeah. Laramie says, I think his hypothesis is that 5e is not the only largest portion of the hobby, but the primary mover. If you disagree with that, yes, you'll disagree with this whole assertion. Oh, man, I don't know. Oh my God, Tim. Seriously? Kindred the Embraced, brought to us by the producers of 90210. Both the Dark Shadows TV show and Forever Night were actually worth watching. My wife loves Dark Shadows, the original. I mean, one could say, do we need another RPG podcast? Yes. I don't know. Well, we'll put that. There you go. There's that. That. So, yeah, big. There we go. Figured. What else? All right. Yeah, man. Let's get to it. Ian World, vote for the most anticipated RPG of 2024. You guys vote in? Did you weigh in yet? So here's all. It should be like a three vote thing. It should be 3 entries for each, 3 selections or options for each nomination. Do you think it'll come out in 2024? And is it your most anticipated? So yes, no, and then is it your most anticipated? Yeah, you get to pick up to 3. So, 13th Age is on it again. Hey, 13th Age is on it again. It's a carryover. It's carryover from 2023. So will it? Will it blend? Will it get off the ground, and two, will it arrive in 2023 or 2024? Sorry, I get my years mixed up here. Adventure Conquer King 2 or Axe, Amboria. Some of these I have not heard of. Assassin's Creed. I think we covered that as it was coming. Break. Broken Weave. Cairn 2E. Cohors Cthulhu. Deathmatch Island. That'll get out. Evil Hat will have that out. Daggerheart. Darrington Press's game. Diablo. I did not know Glass Cannon was doing that. Huh. Dolmenwood. I think that'll be out. I think Gavin will get it out. He's well ahead of the curve. Some of us already have the PDFs. A couple of the PDFs. I don't know. Are those PDFs done? I don't think are they done? Or are they still like betas? I don't remember. Right. Where's the RPG of our favorite children's story bear? Indeed. I don't remember if that funded. Pooh. Can't say it. I can't say it because they'll mark me for bad language. Pendragon may win it again. Gabe, man after my own heart. We can both agree, maybe again. That's a welcome backer, right? Eat the Reich. The Electric State by Free League. So if that delivery date is to be in 2024, it'll be out in 2024. So I'll put that down because it's Free League. Final Fantasy 14, our starter set. His Majesty the Worm, Into the Motherlands, Knave 2E. I got to imagine Ben will get that out, right? That might be one up there. Who knows? We'll see. The Laundry, 2nd edition by Cubicle 7. That game does intrigue me. Should we play a game on like what games on this list will definitely not be coming out? Positive Force, Sean. Come on, man. What the hell? Hey, what are you going to do? Some of these are crowdsourced. What are you going to do? And I don't know if they've even been crowdsourced. 13th Age hasn't been crowdsourced yet. It's not coming out next year. No way. No way. No. You prove me wrong, Pelgrane. Prove me wrong. Make me eat crow. Lords of the Middle Sea. Monty Python. Monty Python could be one. Could be a returning one. I mean, do you like if it was on the list last year, which Monty Python was, 13th Age was, does it automatically get an honorable mention for the next year if it didn't make it out? Or does it be like, I'm not anticipating that anymore? I bet you it doesn't. Pendragon might. Mythic Bastionland. I'm sure Chris will have that out, right? It was early enough last year to get it done. Mythic Iceland. Pendragon 6E, which I think is supposed to come out in February anyway, right? But I don't know if there's anything there. Pioneer. Quest Worlds. Some of these I haven't heard of. I mean, I probably read the Kickstarter crowdfunder and then it just doesn't click with me. Ronin. Savage Hexen by Ulysses Spiele. The Secret World. Shadow of the Weird Wizard. Think Rob will be able to get it out 2024? That was announced in like 2020. And I think it wasn't even Shadow of the Weird Wizard when it came out or when they were talking about it. Shadow Scar, Stone Top, Tales of the Valiant. Predictions? Let's say top 5 predictions. Can you do top 5? Top 3? Top 3. Give me your top 3. I'll put it in the link in the chat so you guys can look at them. Who makes the list for most anticipated? Top 3. And I say you pick 3. These 3 will be part of that list. I could probably tell you some of them. Tiny Cyberpunk, Triangle Agency, Urban Shadows 2E, and last but not least, Mothership. Is this a third time for Mothership? No, I don't think so. They're returning. Yeah, they're returning. Tell them what they made. Hey, Johnny. Whoa, we've got some returning champions of this list. What do we think? I even got it down below. This is what they put down below. Last year's top 10. 13th Age. Star Wars Force. I'm sorry. The winners of each year. I got to go back to the other one. So the winners of each year. 2013 was 13th Age. 25th, I don't know why they don't have 2014. Maybe they didn't do it. 2015, it was Star Wars Force and Destiny. 2016 was Rifts for Savage Worlds. And I don't even know if they had been on them prior, right? Trudvang Chronicles, 2017. 2018, it was Vampire the Masquerade 5th Edition. 2019, it was Savage Worlds Adventure Edition. Dune for 2020 and 2021. Congratulations, Dune. By Modifius. Made the list twice. Twilight 2000 in 2021. Blade Runner in 2022. Pendragon was the one that won last year. That was these were the most anticipated RPG that everybody wanted to see for the following year, or the year that they mentioned them. All right, what do we got here? What's going on? Do you guys got your votes in? Diablo. Is it just constantly rolling rapidly to get your loot of the monsters? Click, 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 click. The Knave 2E PDF is about done. Okay, all right. Top 3, top 5, whatever. Top 3. Or your top 3 selections that'll be on this list. I would go as far to say, have 3, and then who do you think is going to win it? Who do you think is going to take it? What's the most anticipated game in 2024 per EN World's fan base? His Majesty the Worm is an interesting one. I'll back it. I back Knave 2E. Mothership, obviously. My thirst for new game is subsiding. Ty, good to see you. Or games on that list we will not bring to the table. Ty, you can sit this one out. You have my permission. You don't need it, but you can sit it out. I feel ashamed that I haven't even heard of Axe until a month or two ago. Well, there's a whole nother thing about Axe. I'm not going to get into it here. All right, Wayne. 500 XP. First one to chime in with the top 3, your top 3. Way to go. Bravo. You see what happens if you're like Johnny or Jane on the spot? Get 500 XP. Wayne says Dolmenwood, Weird Wizard, and Knave. Which one do you think's going to take it, Wayne? What's going to be the top one? Yeah, it's changed names like 3 times. Weird Wizard has, yeah. Arrogance to Rob Schwab's point. Kickstarter, crowdfunder. Orcus Dorcas chimes in Shadow the Weird Wizard, Pendragon, Karen 2E. Karen has a fairly large following. Yeah. How many subscribers does Ben has? Is he over 100,000? I thought he was like, maybe he's like 80,000. I don't know. I could be wrong. Harrigan chimes in. Mothership, Dolmenwood, Mythic Bastion Land. Tim says, Urban Shadows and Monster of the Week together are better than everything World of Darkness combined, and I ran or played every WOD game. Okay, not a vote. Here we go. Shambot, Mythic Bastion Land, Knave 2E, and the Electric State. So, interesting. Should tally these up. Still haven't looked at Dolmenwood. I need to do that. Oh, it's going to be pretty. Harrigan says, but lots to anticipate. Indeed. Karen 2, Knave 2E, Weird Wizard, Stone Top. Yeah, right. Pendragon. Orcus says it's a lock. Apparently. Who says Knave, Dolmenwood, and Ronin? Interesting. Mothership shouldn't count. There should be a separate list for most delayed. Dude, yeah, Orcus. Remember Pendragon? I mean, yeah, how long have they been talking about that game? Eric says, Mythic Bastion Lands, Knave 2E, Weird Wizard. Win. Knave 2. Knave. Yeah. I don't think Electric State will win, but I'm looking forward to it. I agree. I'm with you. I didn't get in on it, though. Shouldn't be anticipated. MCG's Invisible Sun. Well, and that's kind of a re-release, right? Like, none of these are re-releases. I think these are all new games. New editions or whatever. Like, Monty Kush just have to go back to the printer and print more, right? I don't know if they're changing much. Listen to this guy. Ty says, the ones that win is the game that makes it to your table and you all like playing over again. Touche. Touche, Ty. Aren't we all winners? I mean, really? We look at things like that. Shambot says I'm going for Dolmenwood. Wood will win. It was Mad Mage. People got upset, so he changed it. I thought it was another one, too. I think there was another one besides Mad Mage. Questing Beast, 82K. There we go. That's what I thought. Thanks, Goose. Total side question. What app are you using to pop up chat on screen? Hella smooth. Thanks, buddy. It's a plugin for OBS. I think it's the lower third plugin. It's also got an extension that you have to install into your browser. It's kind of weird. It's not hard, but it's weird because I have to unpack it every time because for some reason the extension doesn't stay set in my browser. Every time I launch it, it's gone. So I have to literally, you got to pack. It's not like install extension. You have to pack it. I did. See, now I'm telling you, I like Free League, but they're like, I'm not blind. I'm not blindly following them. So yeah, Anubis, I did not back it. There's quite a bit of Free League I don't have. I don't have Dragonbane. I don't have Tales from the Flood. What else? There's a couple things I don't have. Couple. 2, 3. I did. Now I'm out of the club. Well, yeah. What are you going to do? No. Banned from his own Discord server. Okay, he's going to want it after it comes out. Maybe. I don't know. I'm starting to get into the frame of mind where I think like maybe it's time to unload another purge and stop backing stuff I'm not going to use. Says the guy who's looking at Shadow Dark. I don't know what I'm doing. Right. Tim says all these great games coming out, catering to such a wide spectrum of interest. Yet this is the end of the golden age of RPGs. Yeah, I don't know. Interesting that 5e was not included because the publisher said it's not a new edition. Really? Because that is true. Why isn't it D&D on there? Come on, it's got to be D&D, right? Seriously? That's a good point, Wayne. Why isn't D&D on there? It's not a new edition of a game. Come on, we all know it's a new edition. It's back with the brand new edition. Playing it daily and nightly. Will it ever stop? No. Love me some Free League. Looking to run Basin for BSRCon. Cool. You are? Are you on the grid? Did I miss your Basin game? Oh, no. Dude. It's probably during something I'm playing in. Shoot. Wayne says Sean does not own Dragonbane because of his anti-duck bias. I learned by listening to Analytic Dice that you don't have to play ducks. Somebody else did suggest that, by the way. Harrigan, I think, is like, you don't have to play a duck, Sean. You could actually, like, I didn't know it was like a table of 12, and then the top two are Wolfkin and ducks, mallards. And you just roll a d10 instead. Look at that. See, I listen. MCDM is also not on there because it's not expected next year. No way. No way. It's not anticipated because nobody anticipates it to be out next year. Right. As Nubis put down. Yeah. Oh, God. Boom, boom. Sean hates ducks. That's just foul. Hey-oh. Here comes the punny police. Oh, part of my task today. I should send you my schedule so you can schedule it appropriately. Ty got banned from a Discord server because I got on a soapbox about paid GM should have its own channel. Away from real players, I guess they do not like my truth. Well, that's pretty hard. That's a pretty hard take, Ty. I would probably kick you out too. Anytime you say real in any type of sentence is usually just like not probably the coolest. I'll just say. Sprayed for mid-2025. All right, let's get on some other stuff. We got a lot. I have 15 minutes to cover it all. Oh, there's some new public domains. Where's my book, people? Where are my bibliophiles at? Anybody want to take a guess at what's entered the public domain? And somebody's already like put it into RPGs. That's right. Public Domain Day. Light Press Media publishes a TTRPG bundle of classics. Not sure what this is about. I looked at the bundle and I'm like, okay. So there is The Great Gatsby. Step into the glamorous world, the decadent world of Jay Gatsby and Daisy Buchanan. Scarlet Letter. Journey to Puritan New England where secrets and sins abound. Yeah, sounds like a fun romp. Great Expectations. Join Pip in navigating the convoluted web of expectations and aspirations in Victoria, England. Pride and Prejudice. Enter the world of matchmaking, societal norms, and class dynamics in Regency-era England. And Frankenstein. Just remember, folks, the monster was not named Frankenstein. That would have been the doctor that created the monster. Venture into Victor Frankenstein's era and Gothic world and his creation. So Light Press Media have done more than turn classics into RPG material to sell. The publisher has released both their 00 system reference and the Light Press Classic system reference under Creative Commons. If you want, you can use either of these RPG engines in your work if you follow the agreed rules. And then all these things, The Great Gatsby, Scarlet Letter, they're all in a bundle for you to buy on drive-thru. I will try to give you the times, dude. I think I have a Friday game. I tried to get in relatively early, I think it was. I don't know if I have anything Friday night. Oh, maybe I do. I don't remember. Shoot. And then I have Saturday night. I have a game at like 8. And then I think I have a Sunday game, Sunday morning. So maybe Friday night? Friday night's pretty busy. I don't know. I have to double check. Fear of ducks. Antidephobia. Antidephobia. Interesting to know. Yes, for my next Delta Green game. Because nothing would break immersion more than somebody freaking out after seeing a duck. Oh, creepy. Insert creepy setting tone. And then you look to your left. Quack, quack, quack. Mickey has entered the public domain. Mickey the Mouse. See you, Kevin. Got to run and analyze some dice. Yeah, for sure. Scabby-Doo? No Scooby-Doo. Good guess, though. He's got ways, I think. Well, the monster was kind of like Frankenstein's son, so, well, I suppose. Mickey Mouse horror movies will be masterpieces, surely. Saw that. I think they made that a while ago. Like, I've seen that trailer a long time ago, and I thought it was a spoof. Intelligence is knowing the monster wasn't named Frankenstein. Yeah. Who are you going as Halloween? Frankenstein. That's not Frankenstein. You're going as the monster. Make a Steamboat Willie character for Pirate Borg. That should annoy my fellow players. Indeed. All right, let's see. What else? We'll skip some of these. Skip this. Maybe this. Tabletop Mentor Program now, part of Unpub. So I think this deserves a little recognition. Get it out there. So I'm not quite sure of all the relationship in here and everything, but they're doing good work. So let's give them some recognition. In November, so I was not familiar with either one of these. There you go. So in November 2023, both groups agreed to bring the program under the Unpub umbrella of offerings to game designers. The Tabletop Mentorship Program name will remain and will be formally referred to as Tabletop Mentorship Program by Unpub. So there is so some of these details of this mentorship: 12-week mentorship period, meaningful mentee-mentor pairings, kickoff event to ask questions and network with other mentees and mentors, Tabletop Mentorship Program Discord server, bi-weekly mentorship newsletter. Additions that Unpub will bring will mentor recruiting throughout the year, dedicated team of Unpub advisory board members, dedicated Unpub email address for TMP questions, in-person TMP events at Unpub conventions. So it's just like two organizations trying to do good coming under Unpub. So Unpub is the Unpublished Games Network. So it is a vibrant community of game designers, publishers, playtesters, retailers, artists working towards the creation of new and unique tabletop games that will keep people entertained for generations to come. It was started in 2010 by John Moeller. So if you're in this space, you probably know this and maybe even have participated. The original nucleus of this community was the mid-Atlantic region of the United States, but our reach and membership is steadily growing across the globe. So Unpub's our hope their hope is to create a stronger community of colleagues and friends in game design while promoting the creative projects of our members and encouraging the improvement of their games through playtesting. And then there's Tabletop Mentorship Program. The Tabletop Mentorship Program was founded in 2019 to provide a platform for experts in the tabletop industry to share their knowledge, resources, experience, and guidance with other members of the community. Obviously, there's quite a bit of overlap between the two. Hey, great. Chocolate and peanut butter, awesome, yay. Goal of the mentorship program is to enhance the collective knowledge, skills, and experiences of the tabletop industry. There you go. Good, yay, hopefully. So if you're looking to get into tabletop RPG design, I would wonder, check into this. All right, so there. All right. Metamorphic Digital VTT Specialist Sigil rebrands. So if you remember this a little while ago, Sigil was an RPG publisher that merged with Pinnacle Entertainment Group, or PEG, the makers of Savage Worlds. They did that in 2022, splitting Sigil services off into a new division that specialized in bringing other tabletop RPGs to VTTs like Roll20 and Foundry. So I have to imagine all the official Foundry modules for some of the games that we enjoy on Foundry are probably done by Sigil services. So in 2023, German publisher Ulysses Spiele bought Sigil services. And now and in time for 2024, Sigil services is now Metamorphic Digital. Probably makes sense to get rid of the weird, Sigil was bought by PEG, but they split off Sigil services, and that was bought by the publisher, so they're just going to change the name and get rid of that. So that would be my guess. Metamorphic Digital has 25 clients, 50 staff, and has worked on over 100 projects. Publishers who have used the specialist include Free League, Onyx Path, and Paizo. There you go. So there you go. Now you know. The more you know. The more you know. And as far as I'm concerned, if they have worked on some of the modules that I have in game systems I have encountered, yay. They do good work, in my humble opinion. Let's see. I don't know if I want to talk about any of that stuff. Okay, maybe we'll come back to it. Where should we get? Print news? What's print news? Print news. Print news. Print news. EN World. Also, so did I not put this in there? Maybe I did not put this in the chat. I probably did not. I did not. There we go. So geeknative.com, check them out. Okay, their website. They do a lot of good news stuff and articles. And then enworld.org, of course. Neither one sponsor this. Neither one are giving me anything for any of it. Just they're sites that have consolidated quite a bit of this stuff. So there you go. Give them credit where credit is due. RPG Print News, yo. Look at this. What is this? Oof, oof, oof. There's a, oof. G.I. Joe role-playing game starter bundle, Power Rangers role-playing game starter bundle, Hunter the Reckoning 5th edition role-playing game starter bundle, My Little Pony role-playing game starter bundle by Renegade Game Studios. $90 each. Looking at, looks like a few books. Look at this, the G.I. Joe one for $90. It's at these are typically $172 if you want all this stuff for each game. So there you go. Check it out. Next one, just passing through. 2 titles, Small Villages and Mid-Sized Towns for any fantasy RPG by DM Dave. Some people know DM Dave, his works. Softcover supplements, $21 each. 20 Small Villages for any fantasy RPG offers 20 unique village descriptions, each complete with a detailed map, information on the population, leadership, commerce, and organizations of the town. Same with the 12 mid-sized town, probably. Next one, horror, the Diner. Another one, DM Dave's crushing it. He's another one by DM Dave. This one is for Year Zero engine, which Gabe will probably want to buy because I know he loves it so much. So, softcover rulebook and softcover adventure, Gabe. Horror, a role-playing game, and The Diner. Interesting. Here's your burger with a side of death. It's like a VHS tape. Be kind, rewind. Interesting. And horror PCs go on a haunting journey to face their deepest fears and confront twisted nightmares that will shake them to their core. PCs confront supernatural terrors and sinister beings that lurk in the shadows, waiting to claim their next victim. In The Diner, the PC step into the retro 1980s world of Epidenis Diner to face 5 terrifying scenarios. Yeah, that's cool. Cool. Whisper and Venom 5e, Whisper and Venom OSE, Whisper and Venom limited edition by the Necromancers of the Necromancer games. What? Zach Glazer, Edwin Nagy. He's on there. Heart of St. Bethis. And a limited edition by Frog God. Wait a minute. So the 5e one has the Frog God logo, and then the limited edition has the Necromancer Games logo. What's going on there, Laramie? Vasgrim. Somebody was just playing this on our Discord, right? Somebody was just pulling this up. Blood Altered Adventure and expanded content, Space Cruiser, Starship Creation, Combat and additional locations, Space Raiders, Classes, Factions, and Hexcrawl Adventures, Infinite Black, hardcover supplements, $25 each. Booyah. PC strap in for a neon-drenched interstellar rescue mission to free the lead quantum scientist from the clutches of an elite sect of devout freaks dead set on sacrificing her to they. It's an Easter egg. This is published by. I got a question though, seriously, Laramie. What is the difference between Necromancer games and Frog God games? Help me out. Help me out, brother. Help me out, brother. So that's print news. Should we get to crowdfunding? Crowdfunding. Got to start off with the Juggernaut, see where it ended up. Anybody know? That's right. If you guess $4.6 million, you win. $4.6 million, 30,000 backers, MCDM, RPG, yet to be named. Thanks, Chris. It's my favorite con shirt. Interviewing the creator from Vasgrim. Cool. Frog God bought Necromancer. Yes, they did. But what's the difference? They're using both brands. I'm like, is like one all OSE and the other's all like 5e, PF2, PF, you know. Here we go. For the most part, it says, for the most part, not 100%. Frog God is Lost Lands, Frog God's Game World, and most all the Necromancer ones aren't canon there. Got it. Okay, I think. I don't understand. I understand. One's tied to like the world, the setting that Frog God has. Okay. Oh, you're talking to him tomorrow. Want to ask him anything? No. I think we might have lunch, dinner Wednesday, actually. Brett is who he's referring to, I'm guessing. Anyway, 4.6 million. There you go. So, backers, hope you guys, ones that didn't back and probably will get FOMO like me. MCDM, got right now $4.6 million in the bank to spend. Oh, run the MCDM and RPG once and played it twice. What do you think? Pretty solid, Chris says. Pretty solid. Yeah. Well, that's good. I don't think it's going to be a bad game. Right? I don't think Matt can put out a bad game. I think he can put out a game some of us might not all appreciate. But it's not going to be a bad game. Laramie continues. So, example, all the one-shot holiday adventures, Orcus, Winter Wonderland, etc., aren't in Lost Lands. They are Necromancer. That helps. Yeah, Nubis. 4.6 mil. Respect. On Backer Kit. I wonder what it would have done on Kickstarter. Still didn't beat Avatar. I bet you I'm gonna put something out there, Chris. I'm gonna put something out just based on that statement alone. I'm gonna bet MCDM. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I'll never know how to prove it. I think more people will play more MCDM than they will play Avatar. Am I smoking crack? I don't know. Crowdfunding news. Wayfinder, Compass for Paizo's Pathfinder from Type 40. I mentioned that this was coming, and now it has been on the crowdfunding. It is now on the Kickstarters. Apparently, Type 40 must be in Australia, and it's $135 for that fine-looking piece of gear. It's funded. They had a $45,000 goal. They met it at $100,000 and still going. It's got 1 week to go. Periodic Table of Elementals for 5e by Catalyst. Did it fund? It's 5e. I'm going to go yes. Look at that. €4,000 target. It's raised close to 46,000 euros. Wow. It was the elemental table. It's the cookbook. It's the isn't there a rock or minerals book that they just put out? Isn't there another plant book? Like, I'm not saying it's all by the same publisher, but it's just amazing. Amazing. Oof, man. OSE Land of Mist, World Unknown by Joseph Quinn for OSE. There is a preview out. So, a continent surrounded by a mist that causes those that pass through it to forget. Funded. Agreed, it's a heroic fantasy game. Avatar is a blast to run, but you have to want to play the IP. Yeah. Next one, Salvage Union. Roll20 version. Virtual conversion. £70 or 70 quid. I start using quid. Then I could sound like a native Englishman. 70 quid for the Roll20 modules, books, and VTT assets. From Leyline Press. Didn't they got into hot water with Leyline? Somebody there, something happened. I don't remember. They got there's some dirty, messy stuff with Leyline, I think. Somebody else that worked for him. Freelancer. $7,500 quid goal. It's gonna it's gonna be. It's not. I don't think it's gonna fund. They're at 4,100. Lair of the Silver Rings. Lair of the Silver Rings. No, it's just not the same. TOD1, Lair of the Silver Rings, RPG, OSR, adventure module from Cloak and Dragons for 5th edition and Osric. Whoa, Osric, man. That's AD&D 1E. Funded. 3,200 bones. And now it's at 46. Bravo. Brain Duster. Oh, man. I think that's a drink I used to order at the bar. Brain Duster. I think it was the Brain Eraser. Mind Eraser. Mind Erasers. Brothers. Downtown. I'll take a Mind Eraser. Mind Eraser. Hey, Eric, you know what goes into a Mind Eraser? Eric's Tended Bar. All right, so Brain Duster is a tabletop role-playing gaming adventure compatible with most rules, inspired by the world's most famous role-playing game. Okay, it's an adventure, $12, $3,500 goal. It's at $5,500. This is a broadly stated OSR hex crawl adventure triggered by a foul ruse that leads the characters to wandering through your hallucinations. While the campaign page states the adventure works with most OSR and D&D TTRPGs, it's probably best suited for BX era. That's a guess. Regardless, GM should be able to fill in the gaps for any D&D inspired RPG. Book is 26 or more pages featuring illustrations and designs by artist Barry Bruner. If you're looking for an adventure that pits your characters against their fears, this might be worth exploring. Paths of Power D666. Dark and Twisted Powers from Merkborg. Yeah, if that doesn't bring back the old satanic panic, I don't know what does. Props to Dungeon Pop. Source book, 15 Australian dollars. It's funded. The goal was 666 Australian dollars. It's at 3,200. Fates of Mankind by FOM, which would probably be from Fates of Mankind. Core rulebook, €15 for the PDF. 3,000 euro goal. It's at 2,900. That'll fund. Probably not even real time. It's probably already done. Let's just go over and kick it. Boom. There. Yay. What is this? Beyond the Beasts monster cards for endless adventures from Hebridean Tales. It's on backer kit for D&D 5th edition. It's an RPG accessory. Most popular pledge, $170, $175. Wow. Print versions of PDF. Print versions of the 6 card decks and monster poster pack. Is it funded? Should we see if it's funded? Backer kit. I don't have that cool logo. $2,000 goal. It's at 1,100. It's got 5 days to get. Oh, that's going to be a tough climb. Dang. 16 backers. The most popular is $175. Lots of decks of cards, apparently. Showcasing monster. Cards offer lore, layer actions, variants, and GM information, plus all the usual 5e info such as resistances, passive abilities, HP, and more. There you go. There you go. Did I put the link in the show? In the chat? I'll do it again. I should do it at the beginning and at the end of the segment. Ooh, there you go. Who's all with me? Sound like my beagle, the dog. Had to replace a tweeting smoke alarm battery. Oh, for sure. I totally understand. Yeah, I get it. Those things, you can't just let them beep every 5 minutes. They cannot have that happen. Sanity will be lost. So that's all I have for today. Yeah, totally daggers for your ears. Poor dogs. I want to thank everybody here for supporting me. I have to update that. I think I got another, might be in the chat, so I apologize if your name's not listed. I'll make sure I get that squared away. But thank you to everybody on the patron list that has supported me over these years and time with their few shekels per month. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Yeah, Hobbs, just in time. Add Julie to it. I will. I'll put Orcus, Dorcas, Julie. Julie, Orcus, Dorcas. Thanks for coming out. I really appreciate it, as always. Love to see all you guys every Saturday at 8 a.m. Central Time here. Yeah. If you're so inclined, join our Discord down below if you'd like. BSRCon is going to be in a couple weeks. It'll be fun, good time. I don't think I'm going to stream in 2 weeks on Saturday because I think I have a game. I have to double check. I have to double check my schedule. Maybe I'll just do it right now because that might be a problem, and I think it is. Maybe I'll stream live from BSRCon, and then all you guys won't be here because you'll be there playing or running. I suppose I should log in. Let me see. My schedule, and me. No, I can stream Saturday on the 20th, which I probably will do, regardless. So if you aren't running a game or playing in a game Saturday morning of BSRCon, kick off the con with the live stream. I should have just thought of that anyway. Do a best of Sean Clips show. I could. That's a good point. Hey, Ryan. Hi, Ryan. Why, like I'm noticing you for the first time. I was like thinking of Blake showing up. Anyways, spend time with people you enjoy and play some games. Be a positive force in the tabletop RPG hobby. Hope to see you next weekend. Be safe and move, learn, and create. And we'll check you on the next one. See ya.